I want to make a video quick tonight to discuss the term redneck. I have said in past videos that I'm a proud gun-owning redneck, and a lot of people have asked me, like, well, why are you proud of being a redneck? And I'm like, well, if you research what redneck means, what the origins of the term are, why wouldn't you be proud of being one? People will also ask me, well, how do you tie the term redneck to owning firearms? Well, once again, if you're familiar with the origins of the term, well, then you're very familiar with how the term redneck is tied to firearms ownership. Now, I know a lot of people like to say, oh, well, redneck, that's poor farmers in the South. And they say, well, that's what it means because it's back as early as the late 19th century that they can find references to people calling poor farmers rednecks because their necks get sunburnt in the sun out working in the fields. Well, that's not the origin of the term. That is actually a misuse of the term and someone taking a term that was already thought lowly of among the upper-ups and the more powerful and the wealthy, a term that was looked on as being derogatory among certain classes of people, and just applying it in another derogatory way to a certain class of people that was a different class of people that it was already being used to describe. Because everyone knows the coal miners that tied the red scarves around their necks to fight back against the corporate powers that were oppressing them, to fight back against the mine owners, and even fight back to an extent against the government that was supporting the mine owners. You got to remember, the government used to be like this with major money. Before the New Deals like that, just if you had the money, you had the power. It was the golden rule. Who had the gold made the rules. Well, the miners fought back, and one of the symbols of who they were is they tied red scarves around their necks. Well, people like to say, well, that's not the origin of the term because the reference to farmers is earlier than that. It's in because the miners was in the early 20th century, and the terms that they can find written about the farmers is in the late 19th century. Well, yeah, that's great if you just go that far back. But if you actually pay attention to history, you'll know that the rednecks in West Virginia that fought back against the mine owners, they took that from another group of people. They took that from the Scots back in the 17th century who tied red scarves around their neck when they were fighting back against a corrupt power. That power just happened to be the Catholic Church and the local bishops. So the term redneck actually has its origins in people fighting back against established powers. People that are notoriously known for not having power stood together, fought back, and won. That's how I tie it to firearms ownership. People like you and people like me who don't traditionally have a lot of power. We aren't big corporations. We aren't politicians. We aren't religious leaders. We don't have a lot of single person influence. We don't have a lot of power on our own. But when we band together, like the rednecks did, when we stand up for a cause, and when we have the means and the ability to not only say we will defend ourselves, but we also have the tools we need to defend ourselves, then that is a great thing. And that is historically proven that is the time when the little man can stand up against the big corporations, against the big powers, and win. So that's why I say I'm a proud gun-owning redneck, because the term redneck has wonderful historical value, has amazing significance historically. It's not just farmers who get hands on their necks. Like I say, that was just a misuse of the term where they tried to apply a term that was already considered derogatory among the powerful people. You mean people that own companies and hated unions and hated workers' rights and things like that. They saw redneck as a derogatory thing because these were people that, how dare these people in a lower caste than me, in a lower position in life than me, fight back and deny me. So they saw it as something negative already. So that was just another misuse of it as a negative term towards another group of people. But the origins of the term is nothing to be ashamed of. You ain't even my real dad.